very warm welcome from a very high and very cold country, and in keeping with the spirit of the territory that we are in, Jule. Join us on a spectacular journey, a journey which takes us to the roof of the world. In fact, a journey which is the world's first. A group of 6 motorbikers traveling across 4 of the world's highest roads in a span of 24 hours. It's going to be spectacular, we promise you that. Welcome to the Out There Adventurers World Record Challenge. The entries were shortlisted and the team of 6 finalized. Sarosh Kupa, a marketeer of shrink packaging machinery; Saurav Gupta, an amateur photographer and communications professional; Burgess Cooper, a banker and IT security specialist; Michael Williams, a filmmaker and adventurer; Patrick Kerr, an engineer by profession and a fisherman by vocation; and me, an ex-communications professional and now a full-time adventurer. Ashok Mehta, a businessman, heads the support team, and Victor Robert from TVS Motor Company heads the service team. Preparations were underway and in full swing. Gear was checked, equipment was inspected, oxygen cylinders refilled, provisions packed. July 21st, 2004, and we were on our way to the mountains with the intention of creating a new world record. India Gate, a spectacular setting to flag off a spectacular journey. India Gate, built by the British as a remembrance to the fallen soldiers of the Great War, a centerpiece of Lutyens' Delhi. A few high fives later, we were flagged off and we rode off towards Chandigarh, our first stop. The road was good, in fact excellent, and we 6 who had never ridden together managed to burn some rubber through the heat of the sweltering summer day to reach Chandigarh for a meeting with the media. In fact, all 3 are riding. The reason Out There Adventurers have been formed is to develop and promote adventure, sports and tourism in India for Indians. Half an hour later, and we were off again. Next stop, Manali, our base camp. The terrain started getting hilly and the road slightly worse. All in all, a good ride to reach Manali by nightfall. The long ride in from Delhi had taken its toll, and the anticipation was rising. We sang away our tiredness and tested our lungs at the foothills of the Himalayas. Everyone slept like a log that night. We were staying on in Manali for a couple of days to start the acclimatization process. We also used this time to see the sights and sounds.
वशिष्ठ में सल्फर स्प्रिंग्स हैं, मतलब नीचे से गर्म पानी आता है, which is of very high medicinal value. अगर दाद, खुजली ये सब चीजें हैं, आर्थराइटिस, लोग कहते हैं कि ठीक हो जाता है.
Manali, also known as the Queen of Hill Stations, amidst apple orchards, fruit gardens and deodar forests. the unspoiled beauty of Manali is the base for some wonderful mountain holidays with adventure sports and picnics, punctuated with sunbathing, fishing, or just plain lotus eating. Across the Beas, a little further from Manali, at an altitude of 6,200 feet, on the Manali-Kelong road, is the hot sulfur spring, Vashisht. It is endowed with great healing powers. Nearby is a temple dedicated to the sage Vashisht.
Victor, can you hear me, Victor? Okay. Victor, come in, Victor.
Good.
The Hidimba temple. At this very spot, centuries ago, Bhima, the third Pandava brother, killed the strong and cruel demon Hidimb and thereafter married his sister. The 40-tiered pagoda-shaped roof and a doorway carved with figures and symbols, the lovely temple stands as a mute tribute to the supreme artist who sacrificed the very hand with which he carved the fabulous temple. Nestling on a wooded slope, Nagar commands a splendid view of the Kulu Valley. It was once the ancient capital of the Kulu Rajas for about 1400 years. The castle, now serving as a heritage hotel, was constructed during the reign of Raja Siddh Singh, using stones and wood, and is said to be completely earthquake-proof. One must-see destination while in the region is the Rorik Art Museum. Here, one can feast his eyes on the marvelous paintings of Nicholas Rorik, displayed in his erstwhile home, a whitewashed villa set in a jewel-like garden, the banner of peace fluttering in the wind, with the Beas meandering down in the distant valley. It is said that the climb to Rotang is tougher than anything else found on the Manali-Leh route. I'm not so sure about that, though the climb is steep with a lot of twists and turns. But it is certainly spectacular. Lush green mountains with rocky outcrops breaking the monotony. The meandering roads show specks of motorists hundreds of feet below. A pretty spectacular drive. We're now sitting at Rotang. It is just about 500 feet short of the top of Rotang Jot, which is at 13,050 feet. The place I'm currently sitting at is at 12,500. We crossed what is called the high altitude zone, which starts at 10,000 feet a little while ago. Many other guys are starting to feel the effects of altitude. Let's go and speak to some of them and see how they are doing.
I found the road had a lot of gravelly patches right in the center. So when you take a hairpin turn and come up, pretty much hit that, and the bike has a tendency to move back and forth, almost skid. And when you're riding up a road where when you come up a climb and nothing beyond you except a sheer drop, you know if you lose control, there's not too many options except one way down. So apart from that, it's been scenic and gorgeous.
Saurav here has just come back from a trip to Badrinath, and he was telling me that the roads up to Rotang from Manali were worse than the one he travelled on in Badrinath. Let's check out what he feels.
Well, I have always loved hill driving, but at the hairpin turns I found out that there's a lot of gravel at the center of the road, and which makes the bike slip. If you are just a little bit here and there, and you don't have the second chance.
This is the first soup ever made on Rotang Pass. I gave the recipe to Ramesh Sharma, the boy over here at the Chinese food stall. He's used 2 cups of water, Maggi noodle masala, some onions and some cabbage. He's boiled it for about 5 minutes. It's tasting delicious. He's going to be adding it to his menu very soon.
A hot bowl of noodles at 13.5 after a 2-hour ride, it's just wonderful.
The conspicuous dome of the stone temple at Rotang is devoted to the mythological sage Vyas. This is also the source of the river Vyas. As we descended into Koksar from Rotang, the sudden ruggedness took us by complete surprise. Suddenly there was no tarmac, no road, and we were dirt biking towards Kelong. Ancient civilizations have prospered around rivers and seas. On our way to the highest and the coldest desert in the world, we crossed one of the last lush green farms that we would see for a long, long time. Not that the road was all bad. Sand and dirt gave way to spanking tarmac every once in a while, almost as if it was soothing our battered bodies from the pounding it was taking, bumping along the dirt tracks.
We're now in the famous town of Tundi. This quiet little town with that gas station behind me is very important for anybody traveling overland into Leh and Ladakh, and I'll tell you shortly why. Behind me is the Chandra River, which meets the Bhaga River here. This town is their confluence, and together they become the Chandrabhaga. Now this sign over here is very popular. You've probably seen it somewhere before. 365 kilometers to the next filling station. That is why this gas station here at Tundi is so important for anybody going into Leh, Ladakh, Lahaul, Spiti. This is 7 kilometers short of Kelong, where we are headed before the sun goes down. Kelong, by the way, is the district headquarters of Lahaul, Spiti. We'll see you there.
We had successfully travelled to 13,000 feet and had survived our first tryst with high altitude. A few kilometers from Tundi, we camped for the night at a border roads helipad.
We are at Stingray. It's a little town 6 kilometers north of Kelong on the route to Leh. This is the border roads helipad where we spent the night. We are now getting into event mode.
The helipad was a perfect setting for all of us to practice riding information. Victor wanted us to practice swinging the bike and riding close together. It worked, since the roads were fast taking on a whole new definition.
We'll see you at Sarcho.
It was only sometimes that we could actually engage the fourth gear. The roads were bumpy, gravelly, and every once in a while, completely non-existent. But the view was absolutely spectacular, or rather awesome. The mighty mountains, jagged rocks, and a sliver of a road far below, extending into the distant horizon. A taste of things to come. At the Gada loops, we tried to take a shortcut up a sandy slope. We were all humbled with the effort. Some fell and turned back, while the others just about managed to scramble through. Today was a tough day. Baralachala, Lachulungla and Nakila were crossed, all well above 15,000 feet. And then there was exhaustion. The altitude was finally taking its toll.
We are now at Pang. We reached here about 10 o'clock. It was a pretty eventful journey up to Pang. And we had a bit of a misfortune on the way. We had a couple of tosses. The roads were pretty bad. There was gravel, there was snow. There was a stretch where there was a lot of engine oil on the road. We were driving through that. But all in all, it was a fairly decent ride. But unfortunately, what has happened is we've had a couple of casualties. In fact, everybody is suffering from the altitude. We're currently sleeping at about 16,000 feet. And we've got Saurav and Patrick who are in hospital. We had to admit them because Patrick has got acute mountain sickness and Saurav has got pulmonary edema. The rest of the crew are having severe headaches and some of them have nausea. So let's see how it goes in the morning. We've all given them tablets and hopefully things should be better. We're on the morning of the 26th and we've just completed our first night at high altitude, sleeping at high altitude where it's about 16,000 feet. But the crew has been uncomfortable. They've not been unwell, but they've been uncomfortable. They've got headaches and Victor opened up his little medicine kit in the morning and everybody lined up to take their tablets, which they did. And hopefully they'll start feeling better because it's the first night at very, very high altitude. We're at 16,000 feet and it's difficult to adjust to the lower oxygen concentration in the air. Breathing is difficult. We are leaving Pang and it's a little after 11 and we hope to be meeting up with Saurav and Patrick and Saroj down at Rumse in a little while, about a couple of hours I would think. We'll cross the Moreh Plains, which is spectacular. We should get wonderful riding up ahead. We'll also be crossing Tanglangla, which till date was the second highest road in the world. We'll see you in a while.
The Moreh Plains, a wind-swept plateau, a stretch of about 40-odd kilometers, an altitude of about 16,000 feet of sheer flatness. In fact, the terrain is so flat that it could well be turned into a championship golf course. We needed to be careful though because of this. After winding through mountains, there was a tendency to open out the throttle and speed up.
We are standing here on the way to Tanglangla. We've just crossed the Moreh Plains. It was spectacular. We could really make up a lot of tarmac in a very short time because the roads were very nice. Probably what you can see behind me is the road to Tanglangla. Up there, you can barely see the Tanglangla top. We are currently at about 16,580 feet. We need to climb another 1,000 odd feet, a little more than 1,000 feet to reach Tanglangla top. The guys have gone forward. Let me go catch up with them.
Right after the flatness of the Moreh Plains, we headed into a polar opposite, the road to Tanglangla. Steep climbs, sheer drops, and a quick rise in altitude to the second highest motorable road in the world.
We have reached Tanglangla, which is at 17,582 feet. Nice and sunny, not very windy. Altitude, yes, breathing problems, but if things go according to plan on the 31st, when there's not going to be any sun to warm us down, chances are it's going to be very, very windy, and we don't know what condition we'll be in on that night.
Being snowbound most of the year, the Indian Army and the border roads undertake the awesome task of keeping the pass open year-round. The sound of the bulldozers clearing the snow is a constant companion. However, that also means that the dozer tracks dig up the road, making the climb down from Tanglangla to Rumse extremely strenuous. After negotiating the rivers and streams on the way, we stopped for a bit at Rumse for a bite and to tank up our motorbikes.
I was there, India and West Indies were playing.
And then into the Ladakh Valley and our first view of the mighty Indus. Early that morning, Patrick and Saurav had been evacuated to Upshi, which was lower than Rumse, and that is where we met up with them at the Border Roads camp.
Nobody would have had a problem.
Both were fit and completely recovered from last night's ordeal.
Day one. It happens on day two.
We've actually had somebody who's had a bath also. This is also
What's
a
a
new
bath?
thing in this.
What's about?
Bath, I don't know, something we got to stand like this is something he's trying to describe, but he's
That's
had
what
one
dogs
of
did that. That's what feels.
those. Oh, he's just done that. Good. Welcome back. Missed you.
A late lunch, and as the sun set, we headed off towards Leh, which was our base for the next few days prior to the expedition. Leh was the advanced base camp for us, and while the bodies were getting used to breathing the rarefied air, we went around the city and its monasteries. Ladakh, a land steeped in mystique, sometimes still referred to as the last Shangri-La, a land of deep spiritual values, a single basic culture of which Buddhism is the bedrock. But Ladakh is also a melting pot of cultures, Shia and Sunni Muslims, Sikhs and Christians. But even they are not untouched by the characteristic Buddhist values of tolerance and compassion. A characteristic feeling of Ladakhiness pervades all. Situated almost 20,000 feet above sea level, the awesome mountains are dotted with monasteries, temples, caves, castles and stupas. The Leh Castle was built in 1600 by the Dharmaraja Singye Namgyal. It has 9 stories and it is said that it took 3 years to build. Tikse was built by Sheshra of Jangpo in accordance with his lord's wishes, but a monastic community could only be established some years later when his nephew Paldan Sherab founded the great monastery together with residences for lamas, and it came to flourish. Stoke lies south of Leh on the opposite side of the Indus. Built in 1825, successive kings of Ladakh have resided in this castle. Inside are preserved shrines, the crown, ceremonial dresses, and jewelry. Hemis is the largest and most famous of all the monasteries in Ladakh and was founded about 350 years ago by Staksang Raschen. Within the monastery is the copper-gilt statue of the Lord Buddha, various stupas made of gold and silver, sacred tankas, and many precious objects. Morning of July 30th. Everyone tries to snatch that extra few winks of sleep before the expedition begins. The motorbikes are given a last-minute checkup, chains tightened, oil topped, petrol tanked up, and the expeditioners make their way to the summit camp at Pang.
For the movie and for the technical support.
Ah, yeah, I see.
Spare parts.
Yeah.
On the way, a brief stopover to invoke the blessings of the Lord Buddha at Tikse. It was going to be a grueling and strenuous ride, non-stop for 24 hours, and we needed all the blessings that we could get. The weather had been worsening over the last couple of days, and the water level at the river we crossed near Rumse had risen considerably. No one even wanted to think about the fact that we had to cross it once again tomorrow, at night. And we surely did not want to stall in the river in the middle of the night.
Not possible. Much colder here.
This is the day before. We got just about less than 6 hours to go before the expedition starts. We are now starting from Pang and reaching Leh. We're going to be starting at midnight, which is about 5.5 hours away. We're on our way to Pang. We're currently standing at Tanglangla, which the board here says is the second highest road in the world. But if you take Marsimik into account, this is actually the third highest road in the world.
It's F55, no? It's again getting better.
D-Day, July 31st, 2004. Chosen because it was a full moon night and would provide some surrealistic landscape shots. Unfortunately, it was cloudy and the moon could not shine on us in all its glory. The expedition starts from here in Pang. The first pass to be crossed is Tanglangla. From Tanglangla, as the sun peeps out of the eastern skies, we will pass through Changla. Marsimikla, the world's highest road, will be next, after which we will retrace our tracks back through Changla into Leh and on to Khardungla, the world's highest motorable road, to end the expedition, hopefully less than 24 hours later.
It's about time to leave. We are hoping that it's going to be a moonlit night, but the night is very clouded and there is no moon. Hopefully it'll clear up in a while. We're hitting Tanglangla in about 2 hours. It's going to be cold as if hell froze over. But all the people, all the boys are gung-ho about it. Spirits are very high and we're going to make it.
Want to make sure we do it together as a team.
Looking forward to finishing it successfully all together. हम होंगे कामयाब.
This is going to be a tough one, but we're going for it.
I'm all yours. We can make it, we'll do it.
40 minutes after midnight and flag off. The expedition is on its way. 4 of the highest passes in the world, 6 motorbikers, and 24 hours to do it in.
It's 5 minutes past 2 and we've just reached Tanglangla. Fortunately, it's not windy. As you can probably see, it's very difficult to talk because of the cold. The lips are sealing up, hands are frozen, and it's very, very cold. I think we'll stay here for another 5 or 6 minutes.
That'll happen everywhere. Let's figure out a solution. First pass, Tanglangla. So far, so good.
We have done it. One down.
The river was quite easy actually, probably because this was the third time we were crossing it in a week and the second time in just a few hours. We are at Karu TCP checkpost and from now we are heading off towards Shakti and then on to Changla, which is going to be our second pass of the day. We crossed Tanglangla a little while ago. It was It was snowing there, and I think we just beat the snow by a bit because it was getting quite heavy by the time we came down from Tanglangla towards Rumse. Rumse we found a little bit of rain. Weather doesn't look too good. It's pretty cloudy. Let's see how the day goes. As day dawned, we were at Karu on the road towards Changla. In typical army style, the team was treated to pakoras and hot cups of tea. A few quickly completed their morning duties, and we headed over to Shakti for the first accident on expedition day. There's oil right on the road, right at the bend, and just as I was taking a turn, I couldn't control it. In fact, it's very, very slippery. If you just put your foot on it, it's slipping majorly. The tires just don't have traction. Skate. Fortunately, the gear that we were wearing is very, very good. It's screwed up my dangari a little bit, but otherwise, these elbow guards and knee pads really saved it. Otherwise, could have been much nastier. As you can see, there's oil all over the left side of my head. It was snowing by the time we reached Changla. In fact, the rain and the snow followed us almost all the way from Tanglangla top. Changla, the second pass on the agenda and the third highest motorable road in the world at an altitude of 17,350 feet.
So here we are, this is Changla. It has taken us about an hour from Sakti to come up over here, which is very good time, I'm told. But if you look behind me and all around, you'll see nothing but freshly fallen snow. The temperature has dipped.
Still dropping. Temperature still dropping.
Right now our watch is showing 7 degrees, but I'm sure it's a little colder than that. We've got lots more ahead, but now it's 2 down. Next comes Marsimikla, or I should say the mighty Marsimikla.
I'll just take a walk down to Changla Baba. I think he's been good to me. I've had a fall. No scratches, no bruises except a torn dangari and a bruised ego. I'll just go say hello and come back. The road beyond Changla was uncharted for the team. No one had ever gone that way before. It was a good ride though, with some rough patches, some greenery, a few lakes and some birds. By early afternoon, we were at Lukung, at the start of Pangong Tso, one of the highest saltwater lakes in the world. From here would begin our climb to Marsimik, the highest road in the world, at 18,632 feet. The road to Marsimik came as a complete surprise. In fact, there was no road, just a steep hillside with our minds, bodies and machines refusing to believe that there was a way up. The bikes groaned, the tires struggled, the men panted. The ride up to Marsimik lived up to its reputation. Rugged, unforgiving, desolate, not to mention on top of the world.
This is Marsimik, the world's highest road. It has been a very tough climb.
Our clutches are burnt down.
Yeah. My bike fell out twice, fortunately I didn't fall. A lot of damage to the bikes as far as the clutch, because we had to ride the clutch on these steep climbs. There is no proper defined road except what you see. This is 18,600 feet. It doesn't go any higher than this. This is the top of the world. Hi guys. Patrick! On top of the world, buddy! Top of the world. Come on down. Come. Take photo, please.
Almost 7 hours to do about 40 kilometers, and the jubilation was evident. But it was only 3 down. There was still Khardungla ahead of the team. When the indomitable Six rode onto the highest motorable road in the world at 5 minutes past midnight, a new world record had been created.
Okay, 4 passes.
And when the indomitable Six rode onto the highest motorable road in the world at 5 minutes past midnight, a new world record had been created.
Michael tells me that I don't look good in a hood, but at 18,380 feet, at the top of the world's highest motorable road, Khardungla, at 5 minutes past midnight, I would rather be comfortable than fashionable. So stay with this. This is the end of the journey for us. It's been a wonderful journey. It's the end of the expedition. We have completed what we set out to do, to go across the world's highest passes in 24 hours. We are now heading back down to Leh for the celebrations. We hope to see you someday, sometime, somewhere in the Himalayas, in the mountains. See you soon.
Once back in Leh, the celebrations began. The Out There Adventurers World Record-setting team then wore a new hat, that of singers. Mike and his band of brothers sang what was their anthem during the course of their expedition. At the World Music Festival, the team had overcome all odds, defied the elements, conquered weariness and fear to create a new world record. And the people of Ladakh joined in the celebrations.
Join me in English. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome someday. Thank you very much. We love you, Ladakh.